Hey y'all, it's your Queen Pimp Sun Kids coming through right quick, right fast for some shouts on the show. And the show is RHOP. And baby, I have finally got into the keen middle of season 4 of Real Housewives of Potomac. And I done got to what it is, I think it's episode 12, but I done got to the conversation where Ashley has let Monique know they in the studio and Monique is pregnant. And Ashley just let Monique know that Candace felt like she was on some hee hee ha ha nanny and boo boo stuff when the booty grabbing stuff about Michael had came out. And boy, I declare, if this ain't make it so clear to me that Monique is two-faced as hell and fake as hell, and baby, and people got the nerve to think that Candace and Wendy owed Monique anything. I know you fucking lied. Monique has been smiling in Candace's face, amongst others, and stabbing them in the back and throwing them under the bus ever since day one. What the hell? But most in particularly, Candace. What the hell? Monique was in Candace's face talking about, ooh, I love her. All in the confessional. Ooh, I love her. I love her spunkiness. I love how loud she is. This, that, and the third. In her face, pumping her up, putting batteries in her back. This, that, and the third. And then going back to the other girls, the yellow bone bandits in particular, and acting like she don't really like Candace like that. Acting like it ain't this and that. Acting like they ain't as close and as cool as they really was trying to get and as they really was showing themselves to be, specifically in season 4, even though I've been peeping Monique for the longest, honey. From the first couple of instances when Candace first came on and the other girls was giving her all types of stank energy. Of course, not only was Ashley being fake as fuck with her, which I feel like was a part of her real motivation in her antics, but we'll get to that when we get to that, okay? Anywho, not only from the first couple of implications of the girls being stank with Candace, Monique, like I said, pumping Candace up in her face and then going back to the other girls on some whole other shit. When Candace, and this is season 3 that I'm talking about here, when Candace was standing in the corner in the room talking to Chris about how she just snapped on the other girls and they had that little, exchange or whatever, and Monique came in there basically trying to tell her how to water herself down to make the rest of the girls comfortable, like she done learned how to do in their face, so that she can play the long game, not too long, that is. Anywho, but so that she can't play the long game and throw their ass under the bus and then apologize for it and then let them pressure her into bowing down all over again so that she can go back and do some more heinous shit and then come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that wasn't me. Now you can get to know the real me. Girl, bye. Like Bundy Blue said earlier in her video, all of them are the real you. All of them are the real fake ass you. She didn't say the real fake ass part. I'm saying that because Monique's people pleasing antics make her fake as fuck. That's why I said I still feel like she's pure hearted, but her being a people pleaser like a motherfucker makes her fake as hell and makes her do fake ass shit. And I don't particularly agree with all that shit that Candace was doing when she was like throwing all that shit in Ashley's face about how she don't believe that she was trying to get pregnant and all of that. But Candace at least owned her shit. She owned what the fuck she was doing, why she was doing it. She owned it in Ashley's face on multiple occasions. The first time she was asked about it, she owned it. The second time she brought it up, or whoever brought it up, she owned it. The third time it was brought up, she owned it. It was brought up at the barbecue, she owned it. She owned every motherfucking thing she said and did and stood 10 toes down in it, no matter who was around, whether she was crying, yelling, throwing a tantrum, genuinely expressing herself, or whatever the fuck. She stood 10 toes down in her shit. Even when she apologized, to me, it came off like a genuine revelation of, okay, perhaps I did too much. I need to, you know what I'm saying, let her know my bad. But at the same time, just because somebody is apologizing to you doesn't mean that their opinion changed. They are apologizing for having said it. Because And child, I'll talk more about that when I get to Candace's portion. I want to stay focused on Monique in particular. And with that being said, let's go back to the barbecue. Okay? And the barbecue happened after the butter knife situation at Candace's house. Chris was doing his tasting. Okay? Everybody was showing their ass at the table at Candace's butter knife situation. With the butter knife situation, everybody was showing their ass. Everybody. Like Monique said in her confessional, Candace should not have invited Ashley. Ashley should not have showed up. Because both of them were on the bullshit and were fucking with each other. Ashley started it though. I ain't gonna lie. Ashley started it. And she had a reasonable gripe with Candace, but if you wasn't there to genuinely support the event, you should not have shown up because you went specifically to somebody's house to be problematic. And you got the problem that you asked for. And you really low-key, high-key could have gotten more. Anywho, now like I said, Monique called everybody out in her confessional and said that everybody acted a fool and could have been better. But she didn't say that at the table. It was, okay, Ashley was in the hot seat. I think Karen was in the hot seat at a point. And Robin and kind of sort of Giselle because of the whole sausage sucking situation, and Ashley more mad at Robin than she is at Gizzard because Gizzard is the one that brought it up at the dinner and threw the ball to Robin to elaborate on the sausage sucking situation, and Ashley instead got mad at Rob. So Rob was in the hot seat at that moment also. And Monique, you know, like I said, pointed out that everybody had their faults at the table except possibly Karen and Katie. But at the table, like I said, when each person was at the hot seat, Monique ain't say shit until it got to Candace, and both Ashley and Gizzard were already both talking to Candace. And Monique then decides to pipe up to be like, yeah, and you know, you do this, and I feel like you should do that, and you shouldn't let people rile you up, and I feel like, you know, I told you that you were also da-da-da-da-da. And when Candace starts to pop off, and rightfully so, get with Monique because Monique was being a fake ass bitch because you didn't mention that you also said that Ashley was getting her karma, and you didn't mention how you told Ashley that you didn't agree with Candace, and you had a whole different type of energy about Candace and what she was doing when you were talking to Ashley, but then you got around Candace and you was being all sugar-coaty and hunky-dory with Candace. And you made a little slight mention of like, yo, don't do that because, you know, karma, and I'm just going to show her love and this and that but you know, she getting her karma now already as it is. You didn't have none of that same energy. And you definitely was talking to Candace like you wasn't really still cool with Ashley like that. Like you was, when you invited Ashley to your photo shoot, you was being real like friendly, intimate with her, having invited her to your photo shoot and all this, that, and the third. Y'all shared a bonding moment and all of that. Y'all escalated y'all's levels of friendship in that moment. But when Monique got to Candace and was talking to Candace about the situation, you talking about, oh girl, you know I didn't let her in my house. We was at the pool. We stayed in the pool area. You didn't say you invited her over to indulge in your baby photo shoot, and how y'all shared a bonding moment, and how y'all cried together and hugged each other and all of this other shit. You didn't say that shit. You made it seem like you was just giving her grace, but y'all wasn't really cool like that, which would perfectly explain also another layer as to why Candace would kind of have it in her mind to be funky with Ashley, because it's pretty damn obvious, even though they may not have shown all of it in the depths of all of it on camera. It could have been edited out. She could have went harder about Ashley behind the scenes. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if she did, because Monique obsesses over image and she loves to be liked and she values being liked more than anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if you was bad mouthing Ashley like a motherfucker to Candace, and that played a part in Candace gunning for Ashley like a motherfucker, on top of her having watched season 3 back, and Ashley was the one that brought Candace on, and Ashley was being fake as fuck with Candace, talking shit about Candace behind her back and smiling in her face. And when, like I said, when you was talking to Candace about, y'all was looking at your baby clothes or some shit like that, but like I said, it was after her pregnancy photo shoot, and she invited Ashley over. They shared a bonding moment because Ashley had a miscarriage, and they was exchanging mommy energy and shit. Monique was doing more than just giving Ashley grace. She was genuinely escalating levels of friendship with the girl. You was trying to be friends with the girl like a mug. You really wanted that girl to be like, you wanted to be friends with her. And that's cool and all, but you downplayed it when you was talking to Candace about it after that, because Candace is who was in your face at the time, and Candace is probably somebody that you really would vibe with on some regular shit, and so it was cool for you to be liked by her at the time, so you sugarcoated everything that you had to say to fit the convenience of the exchange that you wanted to have with Candace at the time, being two-faced as fuck. So when you pipe up at the barbecue to tag on Candace and criticize her about how she responded in her house with the butter knife situation, and quite frankly, true enough, there is truth to you not needing to let people bring you out of character, but at the same time, you're human. So when you are triggered by something, there is a chance that you will, quote unquote, act out of character. And in the moment where Candace got out of character in her house, it made sense, honestly. And a lot of the time when Candace pops off, it makes sense. I ain't saying everything that she says and does is right. I'm saying a lot of the time when she has a reaction, it makes sense. Candace has had an abusive dynamic with her mother, where her mother is in the abusive position over her. And at that point in time, it was raw. Her mama had literally popped her in the face with a purse, had physically assaulted her to add to the mental and psychological and emotional abuse and torment that she was already putting Candace through, that she had gotten worse about by the time Candace got married. So Ashley goes to her house knowing that she has ill intent, starts a fight, throws the person who has been abusive to Candace in her face, and then expects for Candace to not get irate. And like who that was, it was Giselle or somebody that said it, and I'm sure some other people have said it. Saying something about my mom wouldn't get me like that, da 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 da. First of all, a lot of those people that say that are a goddamn lie. Second of all, if your mother had not just popped you in the face, then maybe you wouldn't get that upset. If your mother has not been abusive to you, and then somebody weaponizes her and throws her in your face, you might not get upset because you don't have that same experience. So you can't undermine Candace's experience. Task. especially when you went to her house. And y'all have had enough interactions with Candace before that point to know how it gets down. So if you was gonna have an issue with the experiences of Candace, you shouldn't have went to her house, let alone picking a fight. Tisk. You should have left when she told you to leave. Ashley violated her protective space of comfort and peace, where she lays her head, where she eats, okay? Where her and her husband bump and grind, okay? So that's why it's crazy to me when people, specifically them, try to call Candace childish. What makes her any more or less childish than the rest of y'all? Y'all trying to say that because her mama was still financially supporting y'all? Ashley, you in fucking therapy sessions and the confessional talking about how you see Michael as your damn daddy, and we know he taking care of you. You say to this day that you ain't take care of, handle no fucking finances. So what the fuck does that make you? Not to mention that every last one of them they all have done the same shit. They all have said or done some messy shit about her in another one's marriage. They all have gotten into some type of altercation, disagreement that was either laced with low blows or almost came to blows. And I ain't got to season 5 yet, so hold that thought. They are on a fucking reality show. So please explain to me how Candace is any more or less childish than anybody else on the show. Monique also being taken care of by her husband. So we could say by that rate that your husband is now your daddy and you just as fucking childish. Not to mention popcorn on back over to the barbecue. You, Monique, trying to preach to Candace about not letting people get her out of character. And you get out of character and lose control of yourself because Candace is about to out you about being a two-faced ass bitch and a hypocrite. So you're getting louder and louder and louder. And Karen has to intervene to get the two of you to pipe the fuck down. And to explain to you, Monique, that it's not necessary or cool for you to be popping off at the mouth trying to talk to her and speak your piece and speak your issue with her when it's already multiple people talking to her and it's already been multiple people being shady and fucking assholes to her up until this fucking point. But you call yourself being her friend and liking her so much, but you chime in to tag up on her when she already being tagged on. And it take Karen to speak up and say, hey, one at a time. And obviously it didn't register to Monique because she piped down in that moment. Shit dispersed. Karen and Ashley got into it. Candace removed Karen from the situation. They start chit-chatting and having, you know what I'm saying, their exchange. Karen is checking in with Candace, making sure she's all right. Also, you know, holding her accountable on her points, but also letting her know, look, I understand where you coming from. I saw what happened. I see what's going on. I got your back, this, that, and the third. And like I said, it didn't register to Monique that it's not cool for her to tag team her friend with other people. Stop using other people speaking a piece with her as door openers for you to then come in and speak your piece. You had the opportunity to speak your piece and your speech how you needed and wanted to speak it when she was in your house one-on-one. But you want to use a group setting and you want to use every time one of your vicarious mother figures is talking to her, you want to come over like the big sister who don't know her fucking place and want to try to put your 2 cents in. And it becomes a gang up situation. And it gives me a cowardice sense about Monique, because why don't you feel like you can do that on your own? Why does it take for someone else to initiate it or for someone else to already be in the midst of having a particular conversation and then you have to chime in the midst of that and like I said, tag teaming up the person. And this person in particular is supposed to be your friend. And you wondering why she popping off at you and going ham at you. And that's why, because you being a hypocrite, you being fake. And because she wasn't trying to hear your fake ass shit, you started walking away. She said, yeah, walk away. You then respond, bitch, I'll drag you, pregnant and all. What? And the way people have put 20 on 10 with that situation, making it seem like Candace said something so ruthless to warrant Monique responding, I'll drag you, pregnant and all, when all Candace said was, yeah, walk away. And before then, the amalgamation of what she was saying was, girl, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not da-da-da-da-da. It wasn't nothing. Like, the way Candace reads, she was not even reading in that moment because she was talking to Karen. Even when they were at the table, she wasn't reading Monique. She was simply about to expose Monique for the two-faced, fake-ass bitch that she is. And she exposed how fake and how much of a hypocrite she is in that moment also, because you was just trying to preach to her about not letting people get you out of character. But something so simple as, yeah, walk away made you say, yeah, bitch, I'll drag you, pregnant and all. What? And talking about you gonna throw something at her and all this other shit. When all the fuck... And when I say that confirmed so much to me about Monique, because that's all it took. That's all it took. All because you was fixing to be exposed for being two-faced. And so instead of owning your shit and owning the fact that you said that Ashley was getting her karma and all of this other shit, instead of owning that, you chose to try to fight your friend in that moment. And like I said, I ain't got to season 5 yet. So hold that thought. And skipping over the miscellaneous shit, she apologized to Candace, all this, that, and the third. Candace, you know what I'm saying, took all of those happening as it did as a sign for her to reevaluate herself and start, trying to go about some changes and start trying to see, how she can change herself, as opposed to working outwardly and trying to evoke change from other people. Because obviously that wasn't getting her nowhere. And once again, people calling her childish obviously don't know what the meaning of childish is. Because, like I said before, Candace stood 10 toes down in everything that she said and did from jump. That's mature. That's mature. It's childish to fake the funk, lie, to kick it, go along, to get along because you scared you gonna get a whooping. That's childish. Trying to fight somebody because they about to expose you for being a liar and being two-faced. That's childish. Seeing your man as your daddy is childish, Ashley. Traveling with a flip phone because he won't put roaming minutes on your smartphone. And you can't do it for yourself. So you just travel with the flip phone. That's childish, Ashley. But not only has Candace stood 10 toes down in her shit, but she's also woman enough to genuinely reevaluate herself and start trying to make moves to see what she can do to fix her issues and be a better person. And we have seen to this day where that turning point at that moment in particular has gotten her. Where has the childish antics of faking and fronting gotten Monique and Ashley? So flash forward to the studio, Monique and Ashley, the booty grabbing stuff with the cameraman has came and went, and you can't tell me that they didn't edit out about an episode or two, because ain't no way. We was just discussing the possibilities and histories of Michael grabbing booty, and sausage sucking rhetoric to popcorn to the next episode and the charges dropped. I know you lying. Now, granted, they spent about 2 episodes on it, but still, there had to be much more that had went on in the process of that time that was obviously cut. And they probably cut a lot of it because the charges were dropped. They didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, incriminate themselves, this, that, and the third. But still, we know something in the buttermilk ain't clean. But yeah, in the studio, Monique is being fake per usual. They're having a conversation. Monique is telling Ashley, girl, yeah, you know, a lot of people, could be smiling in your face and being like, hee, nanny, boo-boo behind your back, glowing about your situation. And mind you, also in this conversation, Monique is talking to Ashley like she didn't believe the allegations at all, which is complete bullshit. Because when... Is it the 2 Chris's? I think it's the 2 Chris's that was up there. But I know Big Chris was there. And Monique was sitting right next to him. And Candace was definitely there. I do believe it was both of the Chris's. But they were talking, because they were talking about how Chris was brought up as a witness. And, well, a possible witness. And Chris was also a witness to the sausage sucking comment. And Big Chris had asked about it, and they were putting the puzzle pieces together about the pattern and the history and the possibilities of it all. And Monique was engaging in that. She was engaging in that. And I know if her husband had put the stars together, she was participating in it. So to see her then sitting in the scene with Ashley, acting as if she, did not believe anything, like she's totally on Ashley's side. She totally sees it how Ashley does and all this and that, and people smile in your face and then ha behind your back, exactly how you're doing. Exactly how you have done, Monique. Because you was just talking about how she was getting her karma last week. And Ashley brings up that Candace said, that basically, Ashley said, well, actually, Candace was saying that that's basically how you were. And Monique pulls out text messages. Baby, you didn't say it in the text message. Because the type of person you are knows better than to say it in a text message. But you didn't know better than to say it on camera, apparently. But you said it while talking to Candace that Ashley was getting her karma. So then you take out some text messages to try to throw Candace under the bus and deflect off of what the fuck you said and what the conversation that was really brought up was, when either Ashley is a total dingbat or Ashley really just be getting mad at who she finds it easiest to get mad at. Because the same way Gizzard directed her to get mad at Robin, Monique directed Ashley to get mad at Candace. Because Candace has already said and made it clear that she don't see it for you, boo. That's already been said and shown. So how is this news to you? What? Monique is not that clever. So how people have been hypnotized, hoodwinked, and bamboozled? My thought on how I think, how I genuinely think, certain people have been hoodwinked and bamboozled by Monique. I'm going to save that for a whole nother video. That's a whole conversation on its own. And I don't even think I'm really the one to start it. So I'm kind of hoping that somebody else will bring it up for me to respond to it. But I'm just going to say that it's similar to the Portia effect. Because Portia is not that clever. But somehow, quote unquote, she's able to hoodwink and bamboozle the people. But I said all that to say, if you haven't noticed yet, that Monique is fake as hell. And people are crazy as hell for being out here feeling like when the shit happened in season 5 and all this other shit or whatever what have you, feeling like Monique and Candace or anybody owes Monique an apology or owes Monique any fucking thing when Monique played her damn self from day one. Wanting to be liked and accepted by people who don't fucking like her. Who have said and shown over and over again that they don't fucking like her. And before we even have gotten to season 5, I see multiple instances, and I've named multiple of them in this video and in this rant. I've seen multiple instances of Monique throwing Candace under the bus when it's convenient for her to get some possible applause and acceptance from the Yellow Bone Bandits. She all cool and hunky-dory with Candace until she feels like her spot with the Yellow Bone Bandits is shaky. And or whenever she sees a door opener to upgrade her access card to the Yellow Bone Bandit crew to tag up on Candace with whatever quote-unquote gripe that she's low-key, high-key had with Candace. And bruh, like I said, I ain't got to season 5 yet. I have not heard Candace read or roast a gag on Monique in any way that she could have, or any way that she's done other people. And the energy that I've seen her give to Monique has been real. She's given more genuine grace to Monique than necessary, even to this day. And that to me shows that she genuinely did care about Monique. She genuinely saw Monique as a friend, felt Monique to be a friend. And so for people to be talking like Candace owes her something at this point, it's really fucking crazy to me. Monique played herself. And to think so much of the audience is just now catching on to all of this shit. Raggedy ass Robin, garbage ass Gizzard, antagonizing Ashley, and mindless ass Monique. Yes, I called her mindless because she act like she ain't got no mind of her own. And not having a mind of your own is something that is also childish. And speaking of which, real quick, right fast before I wrap it up, Monique tried to tell Candace after the whole butter knife situation that if she can't control herself when her mama is brought up, then maybe she shouldn't talk about her mama no more. And if that ain't some shit straight out of the Gizzard dictionary, Monique's so full of shit and know goddamn well that if somebody had weaponized her mother-in-law against her in an argument, she would have been ready to fight. Because shit, she was ready to fight while pregnant just because somebody told her to walk away. Which was also low-key, high-key because she was about to get exposed for being fake. Tess! But y'all, I have milked this cow dry. And I definitely have more to say on Monique, Ashley, and Candace. But y'all, I'm trying to get to season 5 first. I'm trying to get through season 5 first. And I tried to get through season 5 before I came and made this video. But just seeing the bulk of season 4 playing out has me like, are y'all serious? Are y'all really serious? Are y'all really serious? The things that the majority of the audience, or at least a good bit of the audience, is just now picking up on. And it's been going on. And this whole time, it's like that gif that they be doing of like movies and stories where it be like who you thought was the villain, who the villain really was. People have made Candace out to be the villain, the ultimate villain on the show, when the whole time the villain has been Gizzard, Ashley, and Monique. And outside of the colorism and featureism of it all, it's really seeming like a lot of people made Candace the villain simply because she has the deepest voice. So everything she says naturally projects and has a natural power to it. Folks really don't like women with strong ass voices, huh? I'm sorry we don't all sound like Minnie Mouse. Oops, yo bad. But child, I have milked this cow dry. And if you're feeling synchronized, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.